This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
What's up, Detroit sports fan? Welcome to the Fan Report, a show made by fans for fans, powered by the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I'm Nick. Coming at us today is our boy Anderson to give us this week's topics.
Well, the Lions did a Lions thing, and the NBA, well, we don't know what they're doing. We're going to talk about both of them. It's the Fan Report.
That was a really short intro.
Yeah.
Wow.
No need to drag it out. I think it was pretty obvious what we're talking about.
No, it's another week of... So when Monday comes around, it'll be another Monday of Lions hangover.
Yep.
As a Lions fan, we all are accustomed to this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
We're accustomed to that sense of disappointment,
Whoa.
that feeling of loss. And it's obviously not a good feeling, but it's a familiar feeling. Today we saw our Lions lose to the Chicago Bears in dramatic fashion, blowing a, 17-point lead? Was it? Wasn't it 26-3 or 23-6 at one point? 23-6, right?
It was 23-6.
Yeah, 23-6 lead. And they blow that, and then to make it even better, have a chance to take the lead back within 2 minutes of the game in their final drive and drop a touchdown pass. And a rookie in his first ever game drops the game-winning touchdown pass. The potential game-winning touchdown pass, I should say, because knowing the Lions' defense and how Mitch Trubisky has played against the Lions in his previous 3 games, I don't even know if the Lions would have stopped him from coming back down and scoring. I mean, they sure make him look good, don't they?
It's it's ironic because I remember watching like the pregame and they were highlighting something that Stafford had said, like kind of like a saying that Stafford had gotten going in the locker room, and they actually ended up like it's dagger time. They actually put it up in Ford Field, and I'm like, so like you're sitting there thinking like, oh, they're gonna be extra motivated like fourth quarter situations. Like, nope, they just put the dagger in their own foot is what they did. But like
their own foot, their own chest, their own stomach, I don't even know.
Like, I'll be honest, like there's part of me that wants to sit here and be like, oh well, the Lions were insanely injured, and then
so were the Bears.
We already had depleted secondary, and then Justin Coleman got hurt early on in the game, and our offense was half the offense that we normally would have. And like
the Bears are missing some pieces as well.
But here's the thing: it's the Bears. Like we should have been able to beat this. We should be able to beat this team regardless. And we were beating this team pretty handily regardless.
There's no excuse to allow Mitch.
Goes on in the fourth quarter. Why Matt Patricia decides that he likes to take his foot off the pedal so quickly and so continuously.
Well, it's not even just that. There's no excuse because the Bears defense, let's be real, is actually pretty good, and I'm thoroughly impressed with the way that the offensive line played and held up for the most part.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously they had their mishaps, and they always will, but they only allowed 1 sack today. Was it a bad one? It was brutal, yes, and it was in a very bad time, pushing the Lions outside of field goal range. But they only gave up 1 sack to a pass rush for the Bears that is supposed to be lethal and was a mere 2 years ago. Was the best pass rush in football 2 years ago. So for them to only give up 1 sack today, I think that I chalk that up as a bit of a plus, a positive. But I don't know how you can go and allow a guy like Mitch. You have no business allowing Mitch Trubisky to play the way he has against this team. How bad is this defense?
That's the thing. I went into this game really afraid of how this defense was going to play.
And I mean, they got torched by Trubisky last year.
All my worst fears.
They got torched by Trubisky last year, and he just continued right along. I just don't understand how you have a defensive-minded coach. And this is absolutely on the coach. This is on coaching 100%. You have a defensive-minded coach going out there and allowing one of the worst offenses in the sport to put up numbers on you and come back down 17 late in the game. That's inexcusable. It's not even keeping the foot on the gas, which, yes, they need to learn how to do, but how do you take your foot off the throat of the opponent and allow them to come back like that? How does your defense just allow that?
That's why I was talking about keeping your foot on the gas, because our defense is so bad. You can't just start playing conservative in the fourth quarter and expect your defense to hold up. You're not that kind of team. You need to keep punching them in the mouth. We've seen this happen repeatedly last year, and you would have thought that something different, like they would have something different in this game this year.
You'd think they would have learned from past experiences of, hey, our defense is not very good. We can't stop them from coming back, so maybe we need to just keep going. I understand by doing that you are risking certain things, like giving up a bad turnover or even an injury situation to key players. You are giving that, you are taking that risk. But you know what? It's the game of football. You got to take risks to succeed.
No, I agree.
And the way that the Lions played today, they will not succeed. They will not beat a better football team the way they played today.
No.
They didn't beat this one. And the Bears, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again.
It's supposed to be one of the easiest games in your schedule.
The Bears are not a good football team. You were at home. Granted, no fans, but you were at home against a bad Bears team who has a quarterback that we didn't even know was the starting QB for them until, last week? And it ain't like he's a good one either. He's terrible.
It's ridiculous. And it's the other thing that I took from this game, and we'll pivot to like the bigger game talk again, but I just want to take one quick focus here. And it was the Lions' run, because I did like rushing game, because I did see a lot of positive.
There were some positives in the
lot
running game
that worried me. I don't know if we have any more excuses for carry on, because AP ran 14 for 90, had 14 carries, 93 yards. How come carry on can only muster 2 yards a carry? Where was the difference there? Is carry on just spent already in his?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's spent. From what I've seen at this point, I don't know if the guy's that good.
He looked. He looked like he wasn't in it at all. Like every time he got the ball, like you didn't expect him to get more than a yard. Like it was weird. Like you're like, oh, here's carry on. He's gonna get tackled.
In all reality, he has vision problems. He can't find the hole and he can't burst through it. I don't know what it is about him, but is he actually any good? Because from what we've seen in the last couple of years, or early on in his career and so far, he's not. Has he shown flashes and an ability to be good? Absolutely. But I'm starting to see signs in this organization that Carrion may be on his way out and may not get his extension.
Yeah. If he doesn't pick it up quickly, the Lions shouldn't even consider extending him.
No, they should.
35. Obviously, AP is a Hall of Fame running back, but 35-year-old AP just outperformed you handily.
I mean, in all reality, he actually had a pretty damn good game. What was his yard per carry? 6.2, something like that?
6.6, yep.
6.6. I mean, that's a pretty damn good number.
His first carry was like vintage AP.
It was
cool.
I don't care how old you are. 6.6 yard per carry average is pretty damn good.
Good news, TJ Hawkinson looked good. But again, he looked good the first game last year, so it's still wait and see.
Mind you, obviously, first game last year we chalked it up as an anomaly, and it was an anomaly. It was a situation where a team didn't know how to, they didn't have scouting report on him. It was a totally new situation. Now that they have a scouting report on him, they've seen other teams slow him down. To see him actually come in and succeed and be a vital part of the offense, is that encouraging to you?
It is encouraging. It's very encouraging. Now we need other people on the offense to succeed as well. Now, obviously, the offense was kind of depleted in terms of our receiving core. I would love to see what this offense looks like with Kenny Galladay out there, for example. To see what it looks like with DeAndre Swift getting more than 3 carries, for example.
I think Galladay out there opens this field up quite a bit more, and maybe TJ Hawkinson's even more of a threat at that point. Yeah. I've long said that I think Hawk takes a big step up this year, much like some of the elite tight ends in this league, and it's because if he wants to ever come close to living up to where he was drafted, he has to become an elite tier tight end, and taking a step up from year 1 to year 2 is a big part of becoming that. And I said I think he will take a big step up this year. I think he's going to have a good year, and this is a good start to that. I think he does take a step up, and I think, this game lends me to believe that he's got it. He's got something there.
I agree. And the other guy that I was kind of encouraged by, and I don't know if it was so much his play as just kind of how involved he was Quintez Cephas. He didn't have any, bad drops or anything. There was, a couple I put on Stafford, either overthrowing the ball or throwing it to him in a position where there's no way that Quintez is going to get to it. But just in general, the amount of times that Quintez was targeted by Stafford, it seems that he really trusts the receiver. I'm curious to see if that continues with Galladay back. Obviously, I don't expect him to get targeted as much, but I would hope to see that Quintez is still significantly involved in the receiving game with Galladay there?
I'm gonna take that what you're saying and kind of spin it the other way here, because when I see a number like 10 targets and only 3 conversions on those targets, only 3 catches out of that usually lends me to believe there's something going on. There's a disconnect between quarterback and receiver there. If it's not a ton of drops, there's something else going on there. And yes, there are times where he's probably just totally covered and it was a desperation throw, overthrow, whatever, just not there. But a lot of times when you see that many targets and a receiver not getting the catches, are there route running issues? Is he running to the wrong spot? Is he pulling up short on his routes? Is he, overextending? What else is going on there that he's not in the right spot for Stafford to get him the ball? We know Stafford can hit a window. That's the truth. We know he can hit a window.
Oh, yeah.
So for him to miss 7 balls on a guy who not only is Quintez Cephas' size, that doesn't sound right to me. So something in it right there, and I'm not entirely encouraged. I'm encouraged by the fact he was targeted 10 times, but the fact that he only converted 3 of those for catches worries me quite a bit, because that lends me to believe that there is a disconnect there and that there are maybe some route running issues.
Yeah, but I remember I was joking earlier in the game. I was like, how high do you have to throw the ball to put it at a point where Quintez Cephas still can't reach it when he's jumping and fully extended? Like a guy.
I mean, at that point, if everybody's covered, including him, and he's got real strong coverage on him, and a ball's that high over his head, it probably was done purposely to throw it away. So, is it still a target to him? Yes, but was it actually thrown at him? Probably not. So, but either way, I mean, it does worry me a little bit to see numbers like that, because that does lead me to believe that there's a disconnect there, and they've got to get that figured out. Especially if we want Cephas to be a big part of this offense, which I do, because I think he fills a role that we desperately needed in a solid possession receiver. And once Galladay comes back, you'll see it even more, that we need that guy.
Do you think that, considering Cephas led the team in targets this week with 10, do you think that once Galladay comes back, Cephas takes a drastic drop in targets, or do you think Cephas is actually this team's number 2 receiver all of a sudden?
No, I think he takes a drastic drop in targets, because Marvin Jones is not a big receiver. Kenny Galladay is a bigger receiver. So a lot of the balls that would normally go to Galladay probably went to Quintez Cephas today, just because of the size matchup there. They're trying to take advantage of the size and where they are in the field, what the game flow is on, what the mindset is on the drive there. A lot of those passes are going to go Galladay's way. I expect Cephas' targets probably to drop down around 5 or under. Maybe he has a higher number in a game or two, but I expect his target load to be around 5 a game, if not less, once Galladay comes back. And Galladay's a guy that, again, he is your number 1, and he's your true number 1, so he's going to get the double-digit targets there.
All right, let's go to our big picture takeaway here. So, for me, my big picture takeaway from this is, and surprise, surprise, the lines have not changed, and I'm suddenly feeling like my 6-win prediction is
high,
almost an overshot.
I'll be honest with you, if you can't beat the Bears with Mitch Trubisky under center at home in the first game of the year, I don't know how many games you can win.
Am I overreacting? Like, it's the first game of the season. Am I overreacting by saying, I all of a sudden think that I overshot it with the 6-win prediction?
Well, let's be real here. What exactly did the Lions do today that encourages you to believe that they can win more than 6 or 7 games? They couldn't rush the passer.
They ran the ball well.
Yes, they ran the ball pretty well, but they couldn't rush the passer. They couldn't score when they needed to. They had an opportunity. They put themselves in a couple spots to get some points on the board, with Prater missing a 55-yard field goal, or Stafford getting sacked to push them out of field goal range late, or obviously the drop by DeAndre Swift, which obviously he'll remember it forever. Do you give a guy a pass for doing that in the final drive of a situation like that, knowing it's his first game?
Literally the guy's first game in the NFL.
I know, but you gotta catch that ball.
No, I agree. It's not an excuse to not catch it, but I'm not going to be oh,
he's garbage.
I'm not going to condone
just cut him already.
Yeah, harassing DeAndre Swift. You got if you're DeAndre Swift, you have to find a way to move on. And if Lions fans are going to get in his head about it, it's just not going to help at all.
No, so he'll end up turning into Eric Ebron, where he's dropping every other ball because he can't get the fans out of his head, and he immediately will run to Twitter and talk shit.
So I can only hope the
can't do
underserved
that.
doesn't dwell on this.
I hope he doesn't also, because that's seriously going to stunt his growth as a player in the NFL, and it's going to really hurt him. You know, we want him to be a big part of the future of this team, and he's got to be able to move past this. He's got to understand he's going to make mistakes in games in this league, and he's going to have to learn and grow from that, and just be better next time. And it's, if he does get better next time, then that's how he grows.
And let me be clear, I'm not being like it. Let's say DeAndre Swift had caught that ball in line to score a touchdown. My feelings about this game were cemented before that happened. Like it doesn't.
There's a very
change.
good chance Trubisky marches right down and scores his 4th TD in the game. Let's be real. They had 2 whole minutes. No, I thought they had 2 minutes in.
No, that was 6 seconds.
Oh
to go,
no,
bro.
that was like not. Yeah, they had like 17 seconds on the board.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But like it doesn't change how I feel about the game, because again, like I was already pissed at that point because the Bears had scored 21 straight on you in the 4th quarter.
Right.
Like it's like I wouldn't have been coming on singing the praise of the Lions if that ball had not been dropped. So that's why I'm not like dogging Swift too much on this.
No, because at that
really
point,
was a team meltdown and not just DeAndre Swift.
At that point, you would have backdoored your way to a victory when you really didn't deserve it in the 4th quarter. Your defense played so terribly, and I know you lost Justin Coleman, and that is a big part of
the secondary is real shaky right now.
Which honestly we thought was going to be a strength.
Yeah,
we thought was going to be the strength on the defense, and it looked pretty bad.
The two, in my opinion, our 2 best corners are now not playing. So, is there something wrong with our conditioning? Why do we have so many injuries already? I'm confused.
I mean,
why do we have so many hamstring injuries? Like, what is going on?
A short off season may play a factor in that.
I agree.
They didn't get the training camp, especially the rookies that they would normally have had. So maybe there is a conditioning situation there, or not enough training camp time. I will say that Justin Coleman cannot play outside. You need him to play the slot and only the slot.
Oh yeah, when they announced Justin Coleman was playing outside, I was really nervous.
He's not good.
I was like, oh god.
I'll be honest. He's not good outside. He's a very good nickel corner. He's a very good at slot corner. But you put him outside, he's average. You need him to play inside, and you need to make sure guys like Trufant, Aruarie, and Okuda are ready to go to play the outside position.
Yeah.
To play the outside corner, because Coleman, you're not putting him up to succeed if you put him out wide. He needs to be in the slot. But
I agree.
I mean, again, going back to what you're saying about the big takeaway, is this a 6-win football team? From what we saw today, I really don't believe they are. You know, I didn't see
this was one of the 6 that I chalked up as a win. I mean,
same. Yeah, I looking at let's take it football, each side of the ball offensively. Positives take from there. Yeah, they ran the football pretty well. The offensive line held up for the most part, but Stafford didn't look that great.
Yeah,
he had some poorly thrown balls, some miscues.
He certainly didn't look like the MVP caliber Stafford that we were expecting.
Not even close. And he needs to be better if they're going to be a good football team this year. And obviously, I know you're missing his favorite target, but he's still got to get the ball in there. And then, so they didn't throw the ball well. They ran the ball solidly, yes, but not enough on the offense side of the ball to make me believe this football team can be any good. Because for this football team to be good, the offense needs to be great. Because the defense is straight up bad. Your secondary, what we thought was going to be a strength, was not good. The Bears still ran the ball over 100 and some odd yards on you. I think technically, didn't they outrushed the Lions in this game, didn't they?
The Bears?
The Bears.
Not by much, but yeah.
And you made Mitch Trubisky look like a champ out there. Again. And you can't do that.
No.
You just can't do that. You still haven't forced... I mean, he did fumble today, but you still haven't forced him to throw a pick. That's embarrassing. This is Mitchell Trubisky we're talking about.
Or his Bleacher Report wants to call him Maserati Mitch.
What?
You didn't see that?
No.
Bleacher Report, at the end of the game, Bleacher Report posted a picture of Mitch Trubisky and called him Maserati Mitch.
And this is why Bleacher Report sucks.
Now, we'd be remiss, like, game result aside, one of the big stories that came out of this game that kind of got some coverage nationally was the Jamie Collins ejection.
He deserved it. He was stupid.
It's stupid.
He was stupid. It's literally one of the most well-known rule in any sport, not even just football. You touch a ref in the NBA, you touch a ref in baseball, you touch a ref in soccer, you cannot touch the refs. If you touch them, guess what? You're gone. So
now,
I don't know.
a lot of people have been coming out and saying that it was clearly not intentional or the ref walked into him. Why?
Doesn't
and I know
matter.
you're demonstrating something, but why are you putting yourself in that position? Like,
and if you look at the same video I saw, he leans into the ref.
yeah,
How stupid do you gotta be?
just signed a huge contract, and that's what you do.
Yeah, after getting paid $1 million last year, guy gets a massive contract because Billy Belichick doesn't even want him anymore. Why don't teams learn from that? Yeah. When the Patriots get rid of you, you're probably not very good anymore.
Well, we can't write him off totally. He played like half a game, but
I know. And I still think Jamie Collins will be a solid player for the Lions on the defensive side of the ball. I do too, but he's got to get his head back in the game and not make stupid mistakes like that.
Oh, it was annoying.
It really was.
It was like one of the most Lions like penalties I've ever seen. Like it was like so unnecessary. Oh, absolutely. Shit. Anyway, real quick, I do want to look forward to week 2. Taking what we saw from this game, Lions are going to Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers. That secondary, we're talking the secondary that allowed Mitch Trubisky to throw for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. How badly are they going to get torched by Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know. He looked pretty damn good today.
Yeah. I'm so glad Devontae Adams in all my FanDuel lineups.
Yeah, that looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers right there because, whoa, boy. That Vikings team I thought was damn good. I thought that defense was damn good. Oh, he made them look like a bitch.
But in the Vikings' defense, they also did lose a lot of people in their secondary.
They did, and they also had lost a big time pass rusher as well. They did not have their full.
Yeah, Daniel Hunter got put on the IR.
They did not have their full squad today.
But what are your predictions for next week?
I actually like to think the Lions bounce back a bit here.
Ooh, really?
I think offensively,
you zigged where I thought you were going to zag.
I think offensively they bounce back a little bit and make this more of a game than it really should be.
And you wonder if Galladay is expected to come back next week or not.
That I don't know, but if he does play, I do think this offense bounces back a little bit. I think that while the Packers defense does have a lot of upside, I think they're vulnerable, and I think Stafford's got the experience and the ability to be able to take advantage of that. So I think the Lions will be able to get into a shootout with the Packers. I just don't think they'll come out on top.
Yeah, I don't think our defense will be able to hold them enough points for that Lions defense.
I think that the game could still end up being a 10-point game, a double-digit win for the Packers. But I do think the Lions at least make some noise in this one and make the Packers sweat a bit.
I mean, we do have a history of playing the Packers close, so it wouldn't be like the biggest shock in the world. But I've lost so much confidence because like everything that I was hoping that remember we had that list of things that could possibly go right with the defense that could really be a huge plus for the Lions, and like none of it did. So I'm so deflated on our defense that I don't have any faith that we're going to be able to hold the Packers to a remotely reasonable score. The Lions can try to.
Well, I don't think you have anybody that can match up on Devontae Adams either. Now,
exactly,
mind you,
we're going to get torched in the second.
You can bracket coverage him because it's obvious that Aaron Rodgers doesn't really trust his other receivers that much. So maybe that'll give you an advantage there. Because I mean, anytime you see 17 targets to one single player, and the next closest is a couple of guys with 6. That tells you how much he trusts his other receivers. So I do think that'll play, the Lions can take a little bit of advantage of that, but they also got to be able to stop Aaron Jones. And I don't see them doing that either. So who knows? But again, on the road in Lambeau, I know it's September, so it's not the same situation. It's not, the December game in Lambeau Field that we always hate. Yeah. It's a September game in Lambeau. No fans also, but I do think the fact that it's at least still in Lambeau.
Weird to see no fans in Lambeau.
Right, where Aaron Rodgers is comfortable. I still think the Packers are going to come out on top in that one.
Yeah. I will say I found the crowd noise really weird in this game.
It was very video game like.
like it didn't like they didn't try to. I think they didn't really bother with inflections. Like the fans were still cheering as the Bears were coming back, and like the Bears took the lead, the fans were cheering, and I'm like, what is going on?
Watching the highlights, I couldn't help but laugh at it because they turned up the volume. Like it literally sounded like when TJ Hawkinson, for example, when he scored his touchdown, it literally sounded like someone just took the volume button on a remote and turned it up a few notches. That's literally what it sounded like. And then when the Bears came down and scored their go-ahead touchdown, it sounded just the same. No inflection whatsoever. It was just the constant cheering we hear throughout the game. Yeah. That's all you could hear. You didn't hear boos, you didn't hear anything. It was just the level cheering. It was really odd. They got to figure that out because it's not good quality right now.
So we are recording this on Sunday after the game, so we don't quite have our Vegas spreads for the Lions game next week. But I think we're both taking Packers then.
Yeah, I'll take Packers. If it's anything over Packers minus 7.5, I might take the Lions there. But I'll take.
So then the Lions could stay within a touchdown, possibly.
Because I think they'll have a chance to be in a shootout. But I do truly believe that the Packers win this probably by double digits.
Yeah, I have no reason to disagree with you right now. Let's hope the Lions prove us wrong next week.
I sure hope so.
All right, let's move on real quick to the NBA. So they are now debating postponing the NBA draft. It already previously been rescheduled for October 15th, and we were just about to start our draft coverage here on the show. But now it's been removed, and they don't have a definite date to when it's going to be moved. But there's speculation, courtesy of Adrian Wojnarowski, that the new draft date could be November 18th. That really puts a Christmas Day start of the season for next season kind of in jeopardy, considering I don't know if you want to give the rookies just kind of a month to prepare for the season. So where do you think the NBA is going with all this?
I'm really kind of confused on the thought process behind this. I really don't, unless they're thinking that they can have an actual live draft in person and that's what they're going for, then I guess it makes a little bit of sense, but you're still creating a situation that's not good for the rookies and their teams that they get selected by, because not only will they have to, only have a month or so to get drafted, you got to go through the contract signing process. You got to get, everything fitted, get ready to go, get the agents involved, and just get all the paperwork, I guess we'll call it, the busy work that needs to be done before the guy gets to the court to play and practice with the team. And then you got to go through the full introduction process to only get all of that done and only have a month to do it. That's just not enough time.
Yeah, and you mentioned contracts. That's a key part of this too.
It is.
So one of the reasons apparently that this is happening is because teams wanted to push the draft back to give the NBA and the Player Association more time to continue their salary cap negotiations for next season, because obviously
that in itself
that affects draft rookie salaries, that affects draft day trades,
right?
But again, Adam Silver had already come out kind of around NBA lottery time, and it said that it's looking more and more unlikely that the NBA will hit their late December goal of starting the next season late December. But having the draft in mid-November makes me feel like January is even too lofty of a goal at this point too.
I don't know that January is too lofty of a goal. I think if you have a mid-November draft, you can have a mid-January season. I think 2 months is enough time to get these rookies ready to go and get that. As long as you've got a salary cap designated, you're able to do all that. I think 2 months is plenty of time to get these guys ready. 1 month.
Remember, you also have to have your offseason, like your free agency and all that stuff.
Right, but you can still practice during that. You can still have the rookies in-house practicing with the team, and a free agent comes in, you introduce them to the locker room. But and into the fold. That's how when you sign a player in the middle of the season, that's how you do it then. It's the rookies that need that extra time. It is just as much as anybody else, and I would argue a lot more. Just get themselves acclimated. Hell, they got to find a home for a while. So I think 2 months is enough time to get the rookies ready.
We may have some players opening their basements to the rookies.
Yeah. I think 2 months is enough time to get these guys ready to go and get them playing. I don't think a month is, though. Free agency can happen while you've got the rookie camps going on, while you've got your team in training camp, because you got most of your roster set anyways. So free agency can continue. 2 months is enough time. But again, though, the NBA is making a mistake, and it's by continuing to push this back. They need to just figure out the salary cap situation and start next season. Just get things going. If you have to have the draft before the NBA finals are over, fine. Go based on best record from the regular season as opposed to who wins the championship or something. Just figure it out. Because
the draft is normally right around the NBA finals time,
right?
Usually.
Right. So figure out a way to get this draft done and get the salary cap negotiations done for next season so that you don't have to continue pushing the season back. Because the later you start it, the more problems you're going to have in the future. Because maybe you end up having to push next year's playoffs back further, and you have another situation where you have a shortened off season. You can't allow this to affect year after year after year after year. Yeah. It needs to be a situation where it affects this year and next year and be done after that.
Agreed. And the more you push it, the more risk you're running of that actually happening.
Exactly.
Do you think any part of this has to do with the NBA wanting to open the season with fans in the arena? Because that obviously helps revenues, and that would help.
Absolutely, I do.
Obviously, they won't be able to set their salary cap anticipating that, but the extra revenue will help.
Absolutely, I do. I mean, revenue is going to be a big, bringing in the revenue is going to be a big deal for the NBA if they want to have, put things back to status quo. They're going to need to have increased revenue year over year, and especially next season is going to be a big pivotal year for them when it comes to the bottom line, because if fans are not in seats, they're going to have to find out other ways to bring in that money, because that is a lot of money that teams won't be bringing in. And it is going to eventually become a problem. It's going to snowball, and it's going to be a bad situation because a lot of these contracts, that especially the big ones, are backloaded. So are they going to end up being able to restructure these deals like the way they do in the NFL? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to be able to make these guys take less. The NBA Players Association's powerful. I don't think they're taking any less. But if the salary cap doesn't continue to increase and they gave them contracts contingent on the, not necessarily contingent, but based on the fact that the salary caps were increasing, well, now you got a problem.
Exactly.
Because
now you're going to be putting a bunch of teams in the luxury, and they're obviously going to
they're going to have to get rid of the luxury tax or lower it or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they announced like luxury tax relief or not, but I think if they haven't, they need to do. They're going to have to take some measures in terms of luxury tax.
They are, absolutely, because it's going to be a situation where these teams can't afford to pay these players. And I mean, obviously, I'd like to just say, all right, maybe the billionaire owners need to just bite the bullet here, but they're not going to.
They didn't become billionaires at biting the bullet.
Right, that is true. that is true. But either way, the NBA needs to get this salary cap situation figured out for next year and need to get this draft done. Just do an online draft. Just do a remote draft like the NFL did. It worked fine for them.
Run it through ESPN's fantasy app.
Okay, really. It worked fine for the NFL. I actually thought the NFL did all right with it.
Yeah.
So do the same type of thing, make sure it gets done, and then allow these kids to get into camp and start practicing so that they can be ready for a December tip-off.
Yeah. Well, there are also reports that came out, I think, today that the NBA was trying to prep for allowing in-person draft interviews. So I feel like if they're going to allow in-person draft interviews, they're probably trying to gear up for the in-person draft, right?
Which, if that's part of the reason they're pushing the draft back, then I think they're grossly mishandling the situation.
Yeah. I don't know if that's factoring into the reason they're pushing it back.
I know, but an in-person draft is 100% not necessary.
Agreed.
And the NFL proved that.
Before we close out, there was one thing that I kind of forgot to do with the Lions. Well, it was kind of a point that I wanted to bring up that I forgot to mention.
All right, let's rewind everything.
It's not significant, but we can close out with this. I did want to say that with the Lions losing today, I feel pretty confident saying they're headed for an 0-4 start. Am I off by saying that?
Well,
their next three opponents are Green Bay, at Cardinals, and then home against the Saints.
Cardinals look damn good, man.
Yep.
That's a damn good football team.
Handled the 49ers today.
Kyler Murray's the real deal. I like that kid.
And you got the Saints at home. Like, I am not at all confident in our ability to win any of those games.
No, I'm really not either. I don't think the Lions will win any of those games. And that's just based on the fact that all of those football teams are better than they are.
So I'm not off base on 0-4 start for the
No.
Lions.
Now, here's the real question. Does Matt Patricia survive an 0-4 start?
I would
Does
hope
he
not.
stay employed?
Here's the thing. If that ultimatum holds any weight, he shouldn't. Because
No, he
you
shouldn't.
start 0-4, you're not in playoff contention.
No,
Sorry.
there's like a 1% chance you will make the playoffs if you start 0-4. It's probably less than 1%. If you start 0-4, there is no reason the Lions should keep Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn at that point. Get rid of both of them. Fire them both. Because if you start 0-4 here, no excuses. You're just not good at your job.
Chauncey Billups, your Lions coach.
Can he be any worse than 0-4?
Oh, man. It is kind of bittersweet to see Chauncey finally considering taking some NFL head coaching gigs. Because I wanted him here so badly. But like, I'm
NFL?
happy for him. That
NFL head coaching
NBA,
gigs?
sorry. Because I wanted him here so bad. But I'm happy for him that he's finally considering stepping into coaching.
I am too. I always thought he was gonna end up coaching when he was in the league. The way he carried himself and what he did on the floor, it was so obvious he was going to be a coach of the future in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad he's definitely going to be getting that opportunity.
But that's all I have. I don't know if you have
That's
anything
all I
else.
got too. It obviously was just a disappointing day as a Lions fan. You just
One of what is
are
sure
you
to be
even
many.
surprised though?
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely not. You should have seen my group chats that were happening.
Same old
People
Lions,
like
man.
it was just people. Everyone was just dead inside. It was
How
basically what
many
it was.
How many times did the term "same old Lions" or "SOL" come up?
Actually, never. They got creative
Really?
and they said some things I cannot say on
Fair
this
enough.
podcast.
Fair enough.
Let's just say OBJ was referenced.
Nice. That's a wild story right there, by the way. Oh, man. At least he's like kind of taking it in stride.
Yeah.
It's probably the only mature thing he's done since coming into the league.
It's a coincidence he plays for the Browns.
I know. That just, honest to God, makes it so much better. Anyways, though, that is going to close it out for this week, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We will catch you next week after week 2 of this wonderful Lions season.
Fingers crossed we can come on and sing their praises, but I'm not too confident in it.
Yeah, let's hope they change that. Let's hope they make believers out of us.
Yeah.
But anyways, again, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you to Detroit Sports Podcast as always. Follow us on Twitter at Real Fan Report, and we will catch you guys next week.
And if you have any dissenting opinions, please share them on our Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to hear from Lions fans that can give me a positive spin on this.
So as I was saying before, I just tripped all over my own tongue. This has been the Fan Reporters. Bye, fans.
For fans.
Thank you guys again. We'll catch you next week. Peace out.
Peace.